This is Game Spotlight, and we are playing a game on Temple of the Past. Player 1, playing Stukov. We have Ancalagon, our resident meme lord. Are there mines around the temple? Yes, there are mines around the temple. Player 2, playing Kerrigan. We have Neometal, the killer of critters, the hater of critters, and the murderer of critters. Yes, indeed there are. So, as you can see, we have 3 mutators active on Temple of the Past. We have Fatal Attraction, we have Inspiration, and we have Minesweeper. So, the point of contention here was, Neometal was asking, do you get mines around the temple? And yes, you do. As you can see up here, I don't know if this is kind of clear, but you can see the little crater here. So there are Widow mines and there are Spire mines around the temple. Now, luckily for you, that these things will not aggro the temple right at the start. Mag mines do, but those ones are from the Magnificent Mutator and not the Minesweeper Mutator, but it's definitely something that can happen. So let's have a look at the masteries while these players get set up. This is a Brutal +4 difficulty game. And as you can see, Stukov actually has no mastery points allocated. They do have their Alexander, so I'm not sure what level Stukov is exactly, but they do not have their mastery points allocated here. Stukov is going for the Frightful Flesh Welder Prestige. Kerrigan has gone for 30 points into Kerrigan attack damage, 30 points into the Vespene cost reduction, and 30 points into the primary ability improvement mastery. Kerrigan is playing the Folly of Man Prestige. So Folly of Man is a really nice prestige when you're playing with Kerrigan, especially when you're dealing with something like the Minesweeper Mutator, because Kerrigan does not need detection to hit the mines from the Minesweeper Mutator. So what you can do is you can build up your Fury stacks and then use your slidey move or your jumpy move to actually kill the mines out around the map. And this is the strategy the Kerrigan will be employing around the mission. Now, the one thing to note when you're playing against a Minesweeper Mutator is that these minefields are spread all around the map, so your expansion and the path to the expansion may not be safe, and you may actually end up with a few mines behind your mineral mines, so you have to be a little bit careful. But remember as well, Fatal Attraction is active, and you can see that the enemy composition is a Zerg composition, pretty much one of the nastiest things to play up against Fatal Attraction. There's one random drone to this side that has made a huge mistake here, but now we have a few broodlings, and this drone trying to get away, but this drone is just going to get pulled back and back and back, and this drone is the drone going to actually survive? I think the drone died? No, the drone is somewhere in the middle. Oh my god, the drone actually... Wow, the drone actually survived! This guy has seen things. He's gonna go back to the mineral line, and he's gonna tell his buddies over here what happened. He's like, I was surrounded by thousandlings, and I came out alive. I fought them single-handedly. All his buddies are gonna be afraid of him as well. Kerrigan taking a few damage from these little stacks over here from these mag mines, but he does end up surviving. And yeah, this is gonna be a little bit difficult. Explosive threats, Swarmy Zerg, nasty composition, nasty enemy composition, nasty mutators, and just ridiculously frustrating. And now there's gonna be an apocalypse over here. There's one random laying over here as well. Kerrigan uses her simulation ore. Let's try to build up a little bit of her resources here. She's finally cleared out her expansion, and I think this temple should be pretty much clear as well. Kerrigan is gonna be pushing now with the apocalypse, and these commanders will try and do a little bit of that. But unfortunately, Kerrigan gets pulled in by the Fatal Attraction Mutator, and press F for the Apocalypse as well. That was very unfortunate for Kerrigan, but there was pretty much nothing she could have done. And as you can probably guess, this is why Fatal Attraction is one of the least favorite mutators in this game. It is very difficult once you lose control of your army to do anything to stop the carnage from occurring. There are certain commanders that do a little bit better. Zagara kind of works really nicely against Fatal Attraction because it plays in your favor in getting your army actually contacting Amon's forces, but as you can see, I don't know what I should do. No, there is nothing that Kerrigan can do effectively here. Ancalagon is a very experienced mutator player. He does mutations for fun, and he does recommend Ultralisk, so we should take his word on that. He's very experienced with mutators. You can see Kerrigan pretty much unable to build up her Fury stacks here, but one very nice slidey move with her Fury stack, and she was able to deal with that. Now, we also have the Inspiration Mutator available here, so the Inspiration doesn't really affect these mines very much, but as you can see, Kerrigan being able to deal a little bit of this will get pulled in right into the mines over here, but she has to be a little bit careful again. And you can see this is where the drop occurs. It's like Kerrigan unable to move out of the way. He uses her slightly move here and does end up wiping out this attack wave, so she is doing reasonably okay. Stukov still trying to ramp up and get his units out and running, so Stukov will be a little bit slower, but once he gets up, he should be okay and he'll be able to help Kerrigan out. So Kerrigan won't be pushing into the enemy base. Pushing into that enemy base will be somewhat of a suicide mission there, so very good idea for Kerrigan to not move over here. And Kerrigan now kind of getting caught again with these units that slowly auto-attacking, and now one slightly move over and able to wipe out all the banelings and all the zerglings. It's actually kind of entertaining to watch Kerrigan do that. She's slowly, in between the Fatal Attraction attacks, she's able to build up her Fear Stack, and then she just does one sliding move over and she wipes out the entire attack wave. Now, Stukov has his siege tanks already in position and they will be shelling away, and they will actually be getting advantage from Kerrigan's creep as well, so that you can see they have a really high attack speed there, which is going to help them a lot against the Swarm Berserk composition. And remember, the siege tanks do not get pulled in by Fatal Attraction, so that does help a little bit as well. Most units that do have a siege mode or a burrow mode do not get pulled in by Fatal Attraction. There is just one exception to that, and that is Stetman's Lurkers. Stetman's Lurkers can get pulled in by Fatal Attraction, and that is because they have the Tunnel of Terror thing as well. Kerrigan just ended up getting wrecked there by a few Spire Mines. But there are two types of mines, if it is not already clear, if you are a little bit new to this mutator. There are Widow Mines over here, and there are Spider Mines as well. And Spider Mines are the single-use mines there, and they're the ones that deal a lot of damage if you're not paying attention, and you can get completely wiped by a few Spider Mines. You have to be a little bit careful. Stukov Siege Tanks trying to get away from this aberration, wants to slap them, and he does manage to escape there, but this one nice one is not going to hold for very long. There are a few aberrations, and here's an interesting thing to know as well. See how the Vipers and the Scourge are parked right next to this attack wave? When you're playing up against a composition with air units, it is always important to take out the air units before you take out the ground units, because the air units are leashed to the ground. If you take out the ground units first, all the Scourge and all the Vipers and everything will just make a beeline for the temple and they will attack the temple. You can see these players have already taken the precautions here by putting in some Overlords, as I like to call them, the Scourge Balloons, to take and soak up some of the damage from the Scourge over here. So this is one thing, I can't move, and now Kerrigan is in trouble. Kerrigan's entire base is being surrounded here, and they ripped their mineral line. That mineral line is not going to be mining out anytime soon. Over here, Stukov needs to try and deal with the stack wave. He has managed to use the Alexander here to finish up the stack wave, but now we have an infrastructure here that gets used to save Kerrigan's base, and we have our first Ultralisks as well. And there's one random tuna fish hybrid here that needs to be cleared out as well. Over here, we have this random tuna fish hybrid that is attacking a random Ultralisk here, not really doing very much, but eventually these things are going to end up going down as well. There's a random infested Liberator that is trying to kill off this thing, so it's going to be a while before that happens. We have some siege tanks as well here, and Amon is actually kind of on top of this lane right now, so these commands will have to try and push through. Ultralisk does end up going down, but it will respawn because the Chrysalis has been researched, and this is a grass strain Ultralisk, so it will end up respawning, and that will be really good. But here, that Ultralisk is going to end up, dying. Yeah, the Mutalisk Slave does end up killing off the Ultralisk, and that is only temporary because now we have a Swarm Host that is going to be causing a few problems for these commands. That's one of the issues. The Swarm Host cause a lot of problems, and here we go. Siege tanks, deep tunnel across. They are going to end up killing off the aberrations here, but again, care will have to be taken when you are dealing with the Scourge and the Vipers, otherwise they will run straight for the temple. Over here, one a bit left here, but I think that has been dealt with reasonably well. Stukov has checked into his Liberators here, just trying to deal with a Scourge. Kerrigan jumping in, taking off a lot of the Scourge here, and now we have a few Tuna Fish hybrids here, and Kerrigan uses an immobilization wave just to try and just look at Kerrigan's attack speed over here. Kerrigan's attack speed is just absolutely insane. But she's building up these Fury stacks on top of her creep as well. Really good job here and slowly clearing everything else out. She is doing pretty okay here. So far, this has been handled reasonably well. Temple sitting at about 16 HP damage. This Void Thrasher is going to be dealing a little bit more damage. One more Widow Mine comes up here. Kerrigan has to be a little bit careful. You can see there, the Spider Mines are dealing so much damage to Kerrigan. Kerrigan now has to back off a little bit. Uses an Omega Worm to provide vision, but unfortunately the Banelings do end up intercepting Kerrigan and wiping Kerrigan out. Apocalypse now gets used, and these commanders actually have to try and deal with it. You can see these are the Spider Mines I was talking about. These Spider Mines deal an insane amount of damage. Now, one of the good things is because Stukov has a lot of infested units that are kind of temporary, they are really nice for dealing with the Spider Mines, because Spider Mines are only single use, so you kind of get wasted on the temporary throwaway infested units, which is kind of useful for Stukov. So we have now some more Mega Worms that are being used, and you see these things just the Apocalypse being moved forward, just trying to soak up a little bit more damage, and the Apocalypse does get pulled back by Void Thrasher's death. And now we have another attack wave, and unfortunately, this attack wave drop has actually ended up detonating on the Temple. Temple has taken 500 damage so far, and now this Ling attack is right on top of Stukov's mineral line. So once these Lings are gone, he will have to re-mine from his resource patch. He's doing that pretty much on the ball right now. And Kerrigan has to go and deal with this. Unfortunately, there are more mines over here for Kerrigan. Kerrigan has to be a little bit careful. She's getting pulled right into these mines, but she does end up clearing it out by her lightning zapping move, which is really convenient. And now the next Void Thrasher has spawned on this lane that needs to be cleared out. Over here, we have a few roaches that are harassing a little bit. These Mega Worms are not really too big of a deal. This is just a standard push that Amon will do throughout the course of the mission, which is why it's always recommended to try and all clear the map if you are available. And now these Ultras are getting pulled right into the middle of all these Wither Mines and all these Fire Mines. A lot of these Ultras are going to end up going down. Kerrigan as well, in huge trouble right now. She's getting pulled right into the enemy base. That could be very problematic. There are a lot of Spider Mines here, and you do not want to get hit by these things. These things do 250 damage. You do not want to get hit by these Spider Mines, and that Void Thrasher does end up going down, but now this is not the end of the mission. There is another attack coming up on the northern side. Kerrigan wants to clear. She's done. She's like, you know what? I want these Spider Mines, and I want these Wither Mines gone from this map. Over here now, we have another air attack wave here. The Stukov siege tanks have deep tunneled across here to deal with the ground units, and whatever's left of the air units here, these Liberators are going to start attacking, clearing out as well. Stukov is sitting at level 2 weapon upgrades. Kerrigan has gone for the chitinous plating, which is really nice, and pretty much all the Kerrigan upgrades that's going to make it a little bit more awesome. Even gone for the level 1 ground upgrade as well, trying just keeping her units alive against the onslaught of Zerg units. A few more Liberators getting added to the mix here. There are a couple of Swarm hosts here that need to be getting a little bit of detection. Kerrigan will be able to clear that out as well. Liberators unable to make contact with the Tuna Fish hybrid, but finally they're able to do that and clear that hybrid out. Now we have more missile turrets on the way for Stukov. Stukov just wants to cast a little bit of a mineral dump onto his resources here, because he is flowing a lot of minerals, and eventually you're going to get a lot of Scourge and stuff, and it's the Scourge that will make you lose this mission. So we already have like a few balloons on the front line here that will help, but a lot more missile turrets just to deal with the random Scourge that are there, so this is going to help a little bit as well in the later stages of the attack waves, because those Scourge are just really nasty. They just go straight for the Temple. Hybrids not really much of an issue, even though they do get a little bit annoying. Now the Liberators are going to start attacking the Tuna Fish hybrids. Tuna Fish hybrids are not really interested in dealing with any of this. Finally, they've started to re-aggro here, and now that they stop, the Liberators can actually start killing off these Tuna Fish hybrids reasonably well. Lots of hybrids over here. Alexander gets used, but now there's another attack wave on this other side as well. These siege tanks are going to be able to deal with the ground units, but there are a lot of air units here, and Stukov needs his Liberators in position, but he needs to go and help his ally out. He needs to help out his lane over here. Kerrigan does get used, and she uses an immobilization wave just to deal a little bit more damage and try and stall this wave. Over here, there is a U. See how all these things are stuck to the aberration? They're just waiting for the aberration to move. If this aberration dies, these guys are going to be moving right up towards the temple, and that is where bad things will happen. So Kerrigan is going to be engaging this next airdrop over here. This aberration is being stalled by Kerrigan's Omega Worm, so Kerrigan is using the stall tactic right now to just try and deal with the things that are coming up her way. And now the next Void Thrasher has spawned on the map. Temple is sitting at about 600 HP damage, but not really too big of a deal. And right now, you can see what happened to the Scourge now. See how they're going to be moving forward? They're just going to end up aggroing these random units, and now they'll make a beeline for this temple here. Missile turrets, very nicely positioned, do end up clearing out the Scourge, but unfortunately some of these Overlords have been hit by a parasitic bomb. And now on the middle lane, we have a few more units over here. This random hybrid, unsure what it wants to do, but the hybrid will end up dying, which is also really nice. Pulling the overlords together again, and now they're one big happy family. And now we have a drop attack coming in from the northern side of the map. There is nothing over here to defend, but now we have a deep tunnel from some of the siege tanks to try and deal with the aberrations. Air units, again, there's nothing really to deal with these air units, not enough of these missile turrets over here, but now the Liberators are in position and they join in on the fray. Over here, Kerrigan is dealing with a huge battle on the southern side. She's pretty much lost, I think, all of her Ultralisks. Yeah, 8 Ultralisks have died so far, and Kerrigan does end up getting killed off by the onslaught of the Swarm Host Locusts here. Again, this battle is turning, and Temple is sitting at about 800 damage so far taken, and these Swarm Hosts are going to be starting to move through here. Finally, Kerrigan's Ultralisks have unborrowed or coming out from the Mega Worm. And these Ultralisks, it's going to be a while before these Ultralisks are going to be able to clear out these things. These Ultralisks are tanky, but they don't really deal a lot of damage, especially with Fatal Attraction when it comes to dealing with these Swarm Hosts as well. These Swarm Hosts create a locking effect. You're unable to do very much. So when Ultralisk does end up dying, it will end up respawning as well. And over here, we do have... yeah, okay, that has been cleared out as well. And now, triple Void Thrasher spawns, which means there are going to be triple-pronged attack waves as well coming up. So, let's see how these commanders deal with this side over here and over here as well. Kerrigan is getting stuck. Very nice immobilization wave there. Will wipe out everything here. And over here, these Liberators are going to be killing off the rest of these units as well, and that is very well handled by Stukov. Over here, Kerrigan is slowly starting to push through, but like I said, those Swarm Hosts are causing a few problems, and these hybrids have still not ended up dying. So these siege tanks now are going to start shelling away on this Void Thrasher here. This Void Thrasher is going to be really tanky, very difficult to kill, and yeah, these siege tanks are actually, they have a really high attack speed as well. It's going to be a while before they're going to be able to take this out. And over here, Kerrigan's army has now intercepted the next attack wave, and that is again going to be a little bit wrong. One random Mulus decides to ignore the siege tank for some reason, wants to go straight for the temple. Temple is sitting at 1,300 HP, and over here, these Tuna Fish hybrids are still attacking the random Omega Worms here. These are just complete stall attackers. That Void Thrasher has still not been cleared out. And over here, Kerrigan has... yeah, Kerrigan has little 40 Liberators lost over there. But over here, just like tons of Omega Worms just to stall. Just to make sure, yeah, Kerrigan has lost her entire army. She's sitting at 4 Ultralisks right now. And this army is slowly cutting through the forest of Omega Worms. And over here, all these units have now just been pulled right to the middle. Just to try and defend this temple. Temple sitting more than 2,000 damage dealt on that temple. And these hybrids are slowly making their way through here. Lots of balloons get added now to the mix here just to try and stall. And these commanders have to hold over. Kerrigan tries to jump in, but just gets completely obliterated by the attack wave there. Ultralisk not going to be able to do anything. There are a lot of angry hybrids and lots of Mulus, lots of Scourges, lots of Vipers. And the temple is now sitting at 600 HP left. 30 seconds left on the temple. And will these commanders make it? These 2 Fish hybrids are slowly pushing through. Apocalypse gets used as well, and it's just there to soak up damage. Balloons over here as well, taking parasitic bombs from all the Vipers that are spawning. These Vipers are attacking. Temple, 5 seconds left, 300 HP left on the temple. And are these commanders going to do it? Temple has been defended with 50 HP left, but this temple is still taking damage, and now you will see why I casted this game for Game Spotlight. Send this to AOM. Yes, please send me these games. The temple has been destroyed, but mission is a victory. Maybe, clearly defended. Yes, there we go. The temple has been defended for the contractual amount of time that they have been told to defend the temple, and not a second later. And the temple has been destroyed, so I'm not sure what's going to happen in the later stages of this story, but there we go. The temple has been semi-defended, semi-not defended, and that is GG.